The strategy is not generally the problem, and your communication is not generally the problem, and you are not the problem. It is how you are interpreting differences that might be a problem. Or if in that situation in the classroom, you are looking at that classroom and going, oh, they are all my students, they are in America, all is good, they all understand English, so all is good. Generally, all is not good. All is not good. There are certain things that you have to be strongly aware of that the student might be interpreting a little differently. Like I say, poverty in my class, some of my classrooms, and the students start to interpret poverty as laziness. I have to quickly address that, especially in a situation where I have students that are marginalized and have been considered lazy because they come from not the same amount of wealth or considered that are poor. Right? So I have to address that quickly in class when I'm talking, that please do not interpret poverty as this. Now, imagine two students in a room and they are there communicating, building something, and one of the students is misunderstanding something that another student said. Please, let's do this work by and then the other student is sitting there waiting for the other group to give them a student. Or you are in a workplace and you say, oh, we need to finish this by Friday. And somebody from another culture, that a hierarchical culture, is sitting there waiting for you to tell them what portion they need to finish, or to instruct them that you actually need them to finish it, and they're still waiting with that instruction, you're not giving it. And by the end of the week, you say, why didn't you finish it? And they're looking at you and going, you never told me to finish it. You said, but we talked about it. No, you didn't tell me to finish it, because there is certain degrees of there is a misinterpretation gap. There's an interpretation gap, and the person interpreted what you were saying differently. Who in a relationship has never had the other person interpret something they said differently here? We all have. We all have had somebody interpret something that we said differently. So imagine that we have completely different upbringings. If us children in the same household can have interpretation gap, imagine the gap that exists in our companies, in our schools, in marriages, in society, in politics. Right? Yeah, politics, you don't have to imagine it. But just imagine the different sort of differences that might exist that is forcing interpretation to break down, communications to break down, relationships to break down, just because we did not quite understand each other. Right? So as we look at all of these things, we look at, I've mentioned the countries like China, the United States. Cultural difference is a problem. People look at the cultural difference, especially America, USA, as a major problem. We focus on identity and fixing people. We push sameness and try to assimilate so that people conform. Meanwhile, while we are trying to create conformity, fix people, create a unified identity, we are actually eliminating another person's a cultural identity in particular. So it is not about not having a difference. It is about focusing on cognition and clarifying meaning, right? Look at our difference, clarify meaning. Embrace the difference, adapt it so that there is better understanding. Find a shared strategy. Even though we have differences in cultural lenses, let's find a shared lens without eliminating, without fixing the other person, without assimilating the other person and forcing them to conform. Those are ways that we need to start thinking about differences in our society.